Hi, my name is Bianca Encinias, and I'm the director of Achante Casa Cultura, and we are contracted by the West Central Community Development Group to work in partnership with them to implement the Arte Escondido project. So Arte Escondido was a concept that came to life about 8 or 9 years ago. There was a meeting held at Youth Development Incorporated. Several people around the room, including Chris Baca, Clarissa Pena, Stephen Michael Quesada, Nancy Montano, and other community members, where we started to have a discussion about how could we highlight some of the folks from our communities in the art community, right? We noticed that there wasn't a lot of art activities west of the river, and then we noticed a lot of artists from our communities weren't being highlighted in the art that's featured out there in public. So we thought, okay, well, how could we come together and really find these hidden artists, Arte Escondido, in our communities, who sometimes maybe don't feel comfortable coming out into the open with their art, or maybe they haven't had the training on how to write a portfolio, or how to put together a portfolio, how to write a resume, or how to respond to a proposal. So we thought, okay, let's come together and let's work towards creating this opportunity.
My name's Chris Baca. I lived in the area for 45 years. I'm actually born and raised in the South Valley. So this piece behind me here, El Gallo Cantador is what I call it, is really reminiscent of my growing up days in the South Valley. You know, grew up in the 50s. So the 50s was very much, South Valley was very rural. So our alarm clock was El Gallo Cantador, which woke us up very early in the morning. So we didn't have alarm clocks, we had roosters. So I wanted to recall a bit of my memories growing up in the area and how much it resonates with who we are as a people. You know, the west side and the southwest side, where this is most of the display is on the art pieces here, is really part of that historic part of our history. And I want to make sure that our art and our voice and our history resonates, and this resonates, at least to me.
Clarissa Pena ran for city council, and she became a city council for the city of Albuquerque. And one of her main goals was to pursue this project, right? And then fortunately, when Mayor Caller came in, Councilor Pena and Mayor Caller worked collaboratively to help fund this project. So fortunately, we were able to kick off the Arte Escondido, actually the Celebrate West Central Streetlight Banner Project in 2019. So that was the first year that we actually kicked off this project. And we selected, I believe, 15 artists with 16 pieces, as you can see on West Central, that are up.
I painted this from and I was inspired from a photo that I took at the Ted Gallegos Community Center. I was just leaving Southwest Alliance of Neighbors meeting, and it was dusk, and there was just an incredible sunset that evening. So I actually stopped the car because it was just like one of those sunsets that just blows you away, and I thought, I need to take a photo of this. When I took the photo, I noticed that the cranes were just like sort of blacked out from the sunset, and it just was incredible. So I was like, whoa. Many years later, I decided to try painting. So the painting is my interpretation of this photo that I took at the time. We've lived in the community just across the street, so close, for 45 years. So to have a piece of art that I actually did, which still amazes me because I couldn't even draw a stick figure, was just really important, and I'm so honored.
What was great about it in 2020 is that when we were about to implement the project, COVID-19 hit. So obviously that wasn't great, but COVID-19 hit, and a lot of our community members were hurting, and in particular artists, right? So this Celebrate West Central project provided us the opportunity to provide stipends to community members. So we were paying community members whose artwork got selected $200, right? Just to have a copy of their art piece, which would then be featured on a streetlight banner on West Central.
Well, art has always been seen somewhat of for the upper echelons. They're the only ones that can afford to buy it and own it. And so very little touches our community because we don't actually have, in most cases, the wherewithal to buy art. And so that's really suppressed the artist in us. And I think we all have artists in ourselves, whether it be through music or art or photography or videography, any of that. So, but canvas art in particular has been missing. And it's very definitive of who we are as a people, not only because of for instance, the Hispanic side. You're talking about Pablo Picasso, Diego Velázquez, Miro, folks like that. And then the indigenous part of us, what are the petroglyphs all about, right? What is the art that is so rich in our indigenous community, and how can that be overlooked? How can we really claim our part of who we are as Americans if we are not recognized through art forms as well? So that's really why Arte Escondido, and the name of it, hidden art, is why it's so important. It can't be hidden.
The other way we worked with them in professional development is we built a website this year. So if you go to the Arte Escondido website, you'll find a photo of their artwork, their bio, which we helped them develop, and then for some of those artists who have a website, there's also a link to their website. So the idea is that in the future, we'll pursue some more professional development with those artists who are interested. When we create more art programming in our schools and our community centers and in our community, especially west of Central, because it's been deficient for so many years, then we're creating positive spaces for our children and our families to interact with each other, which helps increase our education, which increases our creativity, and then art also contributes to our intellectualism, right? So it helps to make us a smarter, more educated society.
It has given me a form of therapy and a form of peace of mind. I don't think about anything else at the time that I'm painting. I just think that if I can paint, that anybody can do it, and to be able to do it is such a relief. So I would just say, I would just try to tell everybody, you can do this if I can do this.
So I just want to say how thankful we are to City Councilor Peña. Also want to recognize all the folk that we mentioned earlier, from Jeanette Baca, Chris Baca, Nancy Matano, today Commissioner Stephen Michael Quesada, Jerry, and Luis over here at the West Central Community Development Group.
For me, I'd like to thank folks like Chris Baca, Jeanette Baca, Nancy Montano, who you'll get to hear from, Bianca Encinas. These are some of the people that have been part of the fabric of the community for quite some time, and it's their passion that has driven a lot of the positive change that we get to see here in our community. And of course, we can't do those things without leaders like Commissioner Stephen Michael Quesada, City Councilor Clarissa Peña, and all the wonderful representatives and senators here in our district. We all participate together, and so I just want to send a huge thank you to each and every one of you out there that support the Arte Escondido project, and for those of you who are going to be supporting us in the future.
Well, I find art to be very healing. We've been going through some really difficult times in our life right now with the loss of our son. And so part of our therapy has been actually painting. It's important from a very deeply personal way. The other part of it is the display, it being displayed on Route 66, and if people can look to the left or look to the right, and you're able to see the vibrant art that we have, that our community represents, it really is meaningful to us to be able to express ourselves, and for those expressions to be seen in such a visual way. You don't have to go to a museum. You don't have to go to a gallery. You can just drive down the street and boom, there we are.